A stronger day, be your best every day. Hi, I'm Madimas, founder and director of Strong Optimizers. I aim to help you stay healthy, be happier, and deal with challenges with greater resilience. Do you know what constructive media is? Have you thought about how you can use your social media platforms to do good and promote well-being? Today, you will meet Milad Hachiti from Lebanon. Milad will show you how you can use your social media platforms to promote well-being in an ethical, engaging, and sustainable manner. Thank you. Hi, I'm Adimas, founder and director of Strength Optimizer. Thank you for watching Strength Optimizers, the Science Up Your Wellbeing series. Today, we have Milad Hachiti joining us from Beirut, Lebanon. Milad is passionate about human potential and he has a profound interest in positive psychology and coaching psychology. He has worked as a radio, television host, and trainer for 20 years, with particular emphasis on constructive media, which is the focus of our interview today. Milad is often dubbed as the positivity guru of the Middle East, and he is also the founder of Human Shift, an NGO and resource network for positive psychology in Lebanon and its regions. I'm so grateful that you can join us today, Milad. How are you doing?
Hello, dear. Hello. I am grateful for this opportunity and I am very happy to join you today. I'm fine. Thank you for this opportunity. I hope we get the chance to share with your audience some reflections, as you said, on how to broadcast constructively and how to use social platforms to enhance and promote well-being.
Yeah. So Milad, before we discuss how we can leverage constructive media or using social media to promote well-being, can you tell us a little bit in terms of what are the climates or landscapes of positive psychology and Lebanon and well-being in Lebanon and its region?
So, as many of you may already know, that my country, Lebanon, is passing through a very tough and critical period after Beirut blast on August 4, 2020. This tragedy was one of the biggest non-nuclear explosions ever recorded, and it killed around 200 people, wounded thousands, and devastated a huge part of the Lebanese capital. So victims are still awaiting the result of the investigation into why more than 2,000 tons of potentially explosive material were stored unsafely at the port, which is surrounded by residential areas for more than 6 years. So instead of grieving and trying to continue with life, Lebanese now are fighting today to find the truth, to get justice. So speaking of well-being and mental health, Beirut blast came on top of an acute economic and financial crisis, which has left people struggling to provide for their families, as well as political instability in Lebanon. So, and we have to add the stress of COVID-19 pandemic. So a huge need of mental health, of self-care, of well-being. And at the same time, many mental health professionals have mobilized in the wake of the blast to offer their services, and they still post tips on social media and trying to come up with initiative for psychological support. In general, Lebanese people today are seeking tools to overcome adversities and become more resilient. This is for Lebanon. For the Arab world in general, despite the stigma, the misconceptions that we still have in some countries regarding mental health services, there are many initiatives that promote well-being and mental health in general. The need for positive psychology, the need for well-being is high, but also you would be happy to know that new generations use their platforms to tackle mental health issues and to spread awareness.
Yeah. Excellent. It's so good to know. And obviously, I must confess that when it comes to the whole mental health settings or awareness in Lebanon and Middle East, I have a very limited understanding and knowledge. So I'm really grateful and thankful that you can shed some light in terms of not only the awareness of the need, but when you talk about resilience, I guess that for me, resilience is a double-edged sword. On one hand, we all acknowledge that it's important that we grow resilience, but yet on the other hand, when we talk about resilience, it means that it almost goes hand in hand with adversity. It almost like without adversity, there's no resilience. So again, I felt condolences and support to the Lebanese. We're going through a lot of adversities, but I'm also hearing a lot of positivity and good stories coming up from that whole adversity as well.
Yes, yes, of course, I do agree. And now there's the talk of the town is what could be the difference between adaptation and resilience when it comes to adversity. So yes, as you said, resilience comes with adversities, but the intention and the main let's say the main focus should be on how really to be resilient and not to adapt to critical situations, to resilient in order to change it.
Absolutely.
To be resilient in order to change it.
That's right. That's right. And I know that you've been doing a lot of wonderful works on the ground and behind the scenes by equipping people and helping people to actually, as I said, more than just adapt to the adversity, but how we'll be able to rise up from the adversities as well. I know that by professions, you are a radio and television host. So tell us, how did you get interested and involved in positive psychology and well-being?
Yeah. When I started my career as a TV host, I wanted to really influence people constructively, but I lacked the tools to do so. I was always triggered by how resilient people can overcome adversities and all kind of adversities. So during my interviews or during my work on TV, I always wanted to show people uh, how to be resilient or how to overcome adversities. So during my interviews with celebrities and public figures, I insisted on getting ingredients of success, of emotional agility. So my interviewing style was a bit of coaching style without noticing. Then I became eager to know more about self-regulation, self-development, about motivation. So I luckily was introduced to positive psychology, and I decided to pursue a master's in applied positive psychology and coaching psychology from East London University, and to become a positive psychology coach and trainer. So now I help people and organizations to flourish, as well as I help also individuals when it comes to constructive media to really influence when they're reporting. So then I founded my non-profit organization, Humanship, which aims also to help people to thrive through understanding, protecting, and sustaining their mental health. But I can assure you that through my 20 years of experience in radio and TV, I can tell that people watch TV or listen to radio stations not only to be entertained, but they are looking for hope, for love, for connection. They are looking to get inspired and to get encouraged. So I easily found a path between media and positive psychology, or let's say the self-development and well-being in general.
Yeah. And we all know that media is such a powerful platform, especially in today's DNA age. One shape or one form or another, all of us are connected to the media, and most of the time will be through the online platform. So certainly you have a very, very powerful and unique platform combined with your own, I guess, communications and TV host, radio experience to promote and to equip people with what they can do to enhance their well-being. So well done and congratulations once again for your passion and commitment in this particular area. And again, Milad, you have mentioned a few times the word constructive media. Can you just elaborate that a little bit more for us? What do you mean by that?
Of course, of course. Yeah, the term constructive journalism or solution journalism draws on concepts from positive psychology to recognize the potential for sharing and discussing constructive solutions in society. So, in a nutshell, constructive media is to stop only seeing the world in a distorted lens. When you try
Mm,
to tell people to share, to broadcast a balanced story, not only to focus too much on flaws, on where things were wrong, but to
yeah.
use elements of media for, let's say, for a fair, for a balanced reporting. So when you decide as a journalist or as a media professional to portray the world more accurately, to stop
Mm,
only focusing on the disease model of the world, but also to to voluntarily try to share the well-being model of the world, to share what's going right,
yeah.
to share the how do it right model.
Yeah.
So the constructive media, the key features of constructive media could be that this sort of media presents problems by looking at the response to a problem,
Mm,
by focusing on strengths, on resilience, on solutions
yeah.
in the face of difficulties, by looking at various sides of an issue. It presents like accurate portrayal of reality. So this type of media focuses on effectiveness. Uh, we okay, it is carefully researched and equips um, readers with
Mm,
the necessary information in order to empower them to react, but to react constructively to what's
yeah.
happening. So, could you imagine the reality that we create when we look only in one perspective, when we choose what to report, when we choose what to highlight or what to focus on? So, I want to really insist that
Mm,
insist on that constructive media is not the fluffy or the happyology style of reporting, or the fake positivity, or even it is not the light happy news. It
mm,
is reporting on meaning, it is reporting on
okay.
resilience, it is talking about solutions, not only the problems. So it's understanding that there is a lot of potential for people to engage much more
Mm,
deeply with the news, when it's not just, okay, this is a problem and go and try to fix it yourself, but it is like, there is a problem, but here we have five solutions,
okay.
five potential solutions that we uh, that we see that it could solve this problem. So this is the main purpose of constructive media, is to have,
Yeah.
as I said before, a fair and a balanced portray of the news.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, the immediate word that popped into my mind when you talk about constructive media is hope, especially when talking about reporting a specific event through more the balance and lens, both the, if I may use the word, negative and positive aspects, but yet at the same time, by collectively engaging the listeners or the viewers to say, yes, this is this issue, this adversity we're in, but how can we collectively make it better? How can we do what options, what pathway, what solutions that we can provide? So I guess that's where the hope element that popped into my
Yeah,
mind. And it certainly, for me, someone who's not in the media or journalistic setting, but I do remember one very traditional cliche in media or in journalism reporting. We talk about the bad news cell. People somehow are more engaged or connected to the bad news. So when you try, I guess that to use this constructive media to help people to see a specific event through meanings to a more balancing view. How do you counterbalance with this whole, I guess, that media culture that's still focusing on the bad news because it sells?
So as you know, we have a tendency to go to negative news, okay, to be more, so to be more attached or more influenced by the bad news, because we think that it is the way to survive, to do to survive, to try to solve it. But I think also many research show that when you give people tools to, as you said, for hope, because we need to also to be aware that well-being is not is not a subjective only component. It has also the collective the collective well-being. So, and media could play a huge role in a key role in this matter, because to also to enhance not only the subjective well-being but the collective well-being. So
Very good. Yeah.
I think when you give people tools, and when you give people when you also try to teach people the how to do things constructively, or the how to solve problems, I think it could lead to really to a collective well-being, to a collective resilience. And this, I think this could be the constructive role of media during this uh, unprecedented time, or sorry, unprecedented during this um, this um, time of stress that we all um, that we all passing through.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Mila, can you give us some examples of how you have used constructive media or social media to spread and to promote well-being?
Okay, and so do you mean on social media?
Yes, on social media. Let's focus a little bit more on social media, simply because I guess that for most people, either in the developing countries, developed country, one or another, we use social media. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. So let me start by highlighting that concerns about the negative impacts of social media have dominated public debate. But however, also recent studies show that there are clear health benefits to being online and connected. So social media offers the chance to connect with others, offers the chance to quickly inform, to get help, to reach people, to reach also professional, to engage. So and also we have to think that social media, it offers enough anonymity to allow people, let's say, with mental illness to express themselves without revealing their identities in some countries. So it allows self-expression without the danger of stigma. But social media so can be used as a motivational tool to achieve healthy lifestyle goals, such as quitting smoking, or attending going to the gym on a regular basis. So, and also it could help us share inspiration, share motivation, and positive emotional contagion, and have the support system to overcome adversities. But also social media um, can benefit therapists, can benefit practitioners, can benefit psychiatrists by extending their reach. So, and also mental health are increasingly using social networking tools to collect, let's say, data that can be used in research, and to connect with other professionals in the online community. So we can use social media constructively as practitioners, well-being practitioners, or psychology practitioners. So, but the key is the how.
Yeah.
So, if you want me to share with you few elements, or on the how effect, on how important is to really use social media for good, I think the key here is to stay mindful when you use social media,
Okay.
because
Yeah.
there is difference between how emotionally we could connect to each others through social media versus how emotionally we get connected to social media platforms.
Okay.
Research shows that using social media as part of everyday routine and responding to content that others share is positively associated with good mental health, but also emotional connection to social media. For example, let's say checking apps excessively out of fears or missing out,
Mm.
being disappointed about your feeling when, let's say, when you disconnected with your friends, or when you're not logged into social media, or when you don't get enough likes or enough comments, is negatively associated with well-being. So the feel when you feel that you are rejected,
Mm.
as I said, when you don't have enough likes, enough comments, that would lead to unpleasant emotions. So it is essential to be mindful, to mindfully use social platforms. So I personally use social media. I share topics on only uh, topics related to well-being, to
Mm-hmm.
resilience. I share tips, I share books, thoughts, I share inspirational videos and images at least once per day or 3 times per week. We have to know that on social media, animation when images over texts, when short text over long articles, when engaging people with questions and polls, responding not only to sharing. This is the way I do it.
Mm. Sounds like it's very intentional, intentionally use of the social media platform once again to promote not just in terms of positivity, but simply to really knowing how to use the platform to connect with people, understanding there's so many people connected to the social media, but yet at the same time be very much mindful that if we allow the social media to influence, even to dominate our sense of self-worth or identity, as she mentioned earlier. But today, if I don't have enough likes in the comments, then I feel that I've been rejected. So I guess that is a clear distinction in terms of how we can actually use social media intentionally, mindfully, versus as a source to feed our self-worth and our self-identity. Would it be correct to say so?
Yes, yes, of course, of course. So, uh, look, we have to admit that we are bombarded every day with fake news. All
Mm.
right, so we sometimes we lose control on what we see, how we react to what we see. So yes, it is important to really to mindfully use those platforms, and to really have a constructive intention when we use them,
Yeah.
and to plan for it and to do it. And but also it is important to also to be aware that social media wouldn't replace human connection. So the
Yeah.
balance between, as we said, okay, get connected to people on social media, but also get connected to people in real life. It is also crucial and important.
Mm. Yep, yep. I'm just thinking that for some of the people who are listening or watching, they may be thinking that I'm not so-called a profession, a professional journalist or a positive psychology coach. I just use social media because to engage or connect with my friends, with my family, or maybe just to use as a platform to whinge a little bit, to complain, not really using it in, as I said, with the well-being intentions. So what sort of suggestions that you can give it to people, even sometimes for myself, saying that, look, I just don't have that well-being intention. I just want to use it to connect. Um, yeah, what we suggest them to do? Because at the end of the day, a lot of us do have a social media outlet or platform.
Yeah, of course. So as I said, because we are bombarded every day with fake news, so sharing should be ethical in terms of providing accurate news. So we have to keep in mind. So when it comes, let's say, to mental health or other topics, I think as practitioners or as normal users of social media, we must ensure that we share evidence-based news,
Mm.
evidence-based approaches, technique, tools, and news which are equipped and supported by research and studies. This is, I think, very essential today. We are facing a huge adversity of fake news nowadays. Also, social media is about engaging. It's not about sharing in one direction. It's the engagement. It's about engagement. It's about active listening. It's
Mm.
about asking for feedback. It's about highlighting your followers and your friends' strength on social media. But it is also how to show gratitude for them,
Yeah.
to share, let's say, great thoughts. Another key of success on social media, I think, is the edutainment. So it's the education, but through entertainment.
Yeah.
You share happy moments, games, exercise, things to do, practical things to do. When you share when you share excitement, when you share um, 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 things relevant to your topic, but in an entertaining way. Um, and we have to know that it's not anymore the era of influencers on social media,
Mm.
on 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 these platforms. So the heroes of social media platforms are open now to real people experiences.
Mm.
So on social media, it's not selling anymore. It's more about sharing,
Sharing.
inspiring real life experiences. So it is important that we share our experience, but also to highlight people's life experience. Let's say of resilience, successful stories.
Mm.
It
Mm.
gives a lot of hope and of resilience. But also we have to make sure that we can't be, as we say, jack of all trades on social media. We have
Yeah.
to become an expert in one field, so people go back to us whenever they have a question around this topic. This is how we can build an influence on social media.
Yeah.
Keep it clean, keep it safe, keep it engaging, but also keep it uh, do it with love and gratitude. Do it with the purpose of of good intention. This is
Mm.
how you win on social media.
Yeah. So once again, sounds like social media is more than just a very individual or personal platform to share my story, but there's also sort of like a collective responsibility because whether we like it or not, I think that we all are influencers in one way or another. We all have our own circles of influence. And therefore, when you talk about being responsible, being ethical, especially when you talk about sharing news, sometimes it's really important to know the sources rather than receive something and without thinking it thoroughly and just forward it to another person's. And that's, I guess, how some of this fake news becomes virus because it's from, because when if it's coming from you, I guess that people do trust you in the sense that whoever that you're sharing, because people, you have your own followers, so to speak. And therefore, I think that that is where the collective responsibility come into place. Very good. Good.
Absolutely, absolutely, yes, absolutely. So that's why I mentioned the intention. So when you
Mm,
have the intention really to when you have the intention really to do good, so you will notice that you're sharing only uplifting, constructive,
mm.
positive positive news on social media.
Yep. Very good tips, very good strategies there, Milan. There. Uh, I also know that Milan, you have produced the first ever television show called The Moment, which utilize positive psychology during primetime viewing. So tell us more a little bit more about this show called The Moment.
Yes, the moment was the first prime TV show, Lebanese TV show, that utilized the positive psychology concepts as the main component of content creation. Um, we have created, firstly, a space for social experiments. We asked random people around gratitude, around love, around fear, around pride, around positive emotions, pleasant emotions, unpleasant emotions, and we tested their reaction as a social experiment. But also, we invited inspirational people to the studio to share their success stories on resilience from different perspectives, and we highlighted the ingredients and the key factors of their success. And we invited celebrities and public figures to join us for a talk on meaning, on purpose, on life satisfaction, on success and well-being. So really, the moment was really equipped by science, the science of positive psychology, but in a very subtle, in a very easy, nice, appealing way, really to give people, to encourage people to manage their emotions, to enhance their well-being, to really reflect on others' success stories in a nice and an appealing way for media on for TV. I think we succeeded in really creating a space of positivity on screen.
Yeah. Again, what a great initiative and creativity by bringing different people from all walks of life and then use the television as a platform to connect, to engage, but also to equip people once again
Yeah.
in terms of how they can live a more meaningful and abundant life, if I may use that word.
Yeah. So I to do so. In fact, if you want me to give you like the how to do it, to do so, I had to really to share with the team the components of positive psychology and the why of doing it, and why do we need to, let's say, to ask about gratitude and how to do it and how to this experience. So I needed to really bring the science of positive psychology firstly
Yeah.
to the team in order to really to engage them to have good results and to have really inspirational moments when people share their experience or share their stories.
Mm. Yeah, and I guess that it's always so important to explain the why behind what, so that people actually will be able to personalize it and own the vision, the passion, the values in terms of the content creation.
Yes, sure.
That's good. That's good. Well, Mila, I'm just going to ask you one final questions, and it got nothing to do with constructive media. So, tell us what is one thing that you have been doing this week to look after your well-being.
Oh, you want me to share one thing, one only thing?
Yes, one thing this week, but if you really want to give me two things, bring it on.
So no, my weekly routine, okay, would be like, okay, I walk in nature. I
Mm,
love walking in nature, using my senses, I listen to the voice of nature. This is something I really I do it mindfully, and I do enjoy it. But also I read, I learn new skills because love of learning is one of my strengths. So I
yep.
use it on a weekly basis. I cook, I love to cook, and I breathe. So if you ask me what are your ingredients of how you ensure that you're enhancing your well-being, I would say I walk, I breathe, I cook, and I learn.
I mean, they sum up with basically that your whole lifestyle is well-being. Because sometimes when we talk about well-being, it's very easy to separate and segregate it as a set of activities or programs or to-do lists. But when you come to a place where you're able to weave it into our day-to-day routines, we got to actually intention saying, okay, now I have to do well-being. It's like my cooking, my learning, my interacting with people, my reading, my walking is part of the well-being. I think that is really a good place to be in.
Yes, yes. You know what? You have said something very important, very essential, and we cannot divide. Let's say we cannot divide our time. Well, this is the time for well-being, and this is the time for stress, or this is the time. I think, is the how we do things. The how we do things would lead to enhancing our well-being. It's when you eat, if you can eat mindfully, when you walk, if you can really use your senses to see, to hear, to touch, to smell. I think this is very basic, but it could help you really to to be aware of your to be grounded firstly, and also to enhance your to gain more energy while you're doing other things, even when you read, or even when you learn a new skills. So because I do love, uh, as I told you, the love of learning is something I really enjoy. So I mindfully remind always myself, oh this is something new. This is, when you have the aha moments when you experience something. I do have aha moments when I learn new skills, when I read something new. But I do remind myself every time that this is something good to know. This is something great to acquire or to do also. So yes, like we cannot divide our split moments, or where we when we work on our well-being, and when we do things not mindfully.
Yeah.
We need to mindfully enjoy what we do, so we gain more energy, and we have more, more uh, we use these pleasant moments um, to gain, to uplift our emotional tank.
Well said, Milan. Well, Milan, I'm afraid that that's all the time that we have for today. So once again, really appreciate you taking the time to share with us how we individually and collectively can use social media or our own personal sphere influence to do better, to do good collectively, to help each other, to build our well-being, especially during these unprecedented, challenging, difficult times.
I am really grateful. I enjoyed my time with you, and I'm really hope to stay connected, to help each others, to really to also to help spreading more awareness on mental health, on well-being. Now through social media, we're using social media right now to do good. So I hope that we did it in the right and in the right way. And I hope that your audience would enjoy this interview. And let's keep this connection. Let's keep giving insightful and constructive tools to help each others, not only enhancing our well-being, but also to help people to flourish.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, for our viewers and listeners out there, if you want to engage Mila's expertise in terms of how to help individuals, organizations to optimize their potential through scientific applications of positive psychology and media, make sure you visit Mila's website. It's called www.humanshiplb.org. I'll put up the link at the end of the interview. You can also reach him via Instagram and Twitter at Miladhad, Miladhad, or obviously you can also reach him through LinkedIn as well. So once again, thank you all for watching. I'm Adimus from Strength Optimizers. We are here to bring out the best in you by optimizing your strengths. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Goodbye.